Namaste, welcome to Transaga.in. Today with me I have a person a bit difficult to introduce. He's a person of multifaceted talents. He's an anchor, he's a philosopher, he's an author, orator and a spokesperson. And passively my mind says he needs no introduction as well. Let us straight away go into the discussion. So Namaste Ramji.
Okay.
The title of my research is Indian Transcendentalism in Cinema. How do you find this concept of Tat Tvam Asi interacting with Indian art forms, and how does it manifest as a process of spiritual realization?
One major difference between the Western construct or finding of God and Indian concept is, Western concept is knowing God and Indian concept is being God. That being godliness or God, it doesn't mean we become God, it means we merge ourselves into some kind of a godliness. It means we are a drop in the ocean and the drop merges with the ocean. And all our art forms, especially temple art forms, Theyyam, and even many spaces like dance, they have a concept of Nadaraja. This is a very critical and crucial concept. For example, there is a difference between painting and painter. When the painting is done, the painter is different, the painting is different. But a dance is only there as long as the dancer is there. When the dance stops, when the dancer stops, the dance also stops. That's the reason why Eastern philosophy, Tao, physics, Frigid Capra or Indian philosophy says it is more like a cosmic dance. And all the art forms are aimed at experiencing, many people call it out of the body experience, many people call it something related to Turiya experience, many people call it the fourth dimension, whichever name you call it. It is merging yourself into that deeper consciousness. Exactly. That's the purpose of Indian art form.
So I think this is in a way deep related to the Indian culture and tradition.
Yeah.
So how do you find it in the context of Indian philosophy, and how does it become the manifestation of God, and how does the Indian art forms interact with it, and how does it become a medium of understanding?
And if you can broaden it, all the ancient philosophies, may it be Greek, may it be the ancient Roman, they all have similar system. For example, that's the reason why we encounter the oracle of Delphi, the priestess who told Socrates he is the most knowledgeable man in the world. It is not that particular priestess who is telling this, there is a supra-consciousness or a super-conscious telling this. When we reach at one particular stage of bhava or emotion, we get so merged into it that your individuality is lost. And the basic premise of Indian philosophy is we are an individual only at a peripheral outer level. When you go deep and deep and deep, you only find the realization that it is Aham Brahmasmi, or I am a part of a huge consciousness where I am lost and only he or she or God is there. This is the same meaning of Tat Tvam Asi, where Shwetaketu is told by his guru father that you are that and you don't exist anymore, only that exists. And this is the basic meaning by Ayamatma Brahma or Prajnanam Brahma, which means consciousness is Brahma.
This is in a way related to the acting part as well. My aim is actually to manifest this idea into the modern techniques of cinema, where this process of transcendence or a meditative stage could be used in a way or as a methodology to transform into the character. So being an actor, or a person? It
would be a very tough thing, because I know I am not experienced enough to dwell into that many deep areas, but I don't even have experience enough to say such a state on a personal experience. But having seen people who have merged themselves, or people who lose their individuality to a higher consciousness, or people who realize that Jivatma is nothing but the Paramatma which is manifesting, you are being instruments, different language, not only Indian culture, even Western civilization, different people have said that at some point of time you suddenly become an instrument, something from beyond creates. Even scientific discovery, many a times they say it is only, they are only some other power or energy is using us. If you can connect it to this, haikus are some ways, as you call in Zen, even our process of Sangeetam or music, where at some spot I have heard many expert singers or even some singers who go to have that in-depth bhava saying, we experience a state where we are not there, something else is there, yet we understand it.
Okay.
So it is very tough to put it into words, because it is a state of being, it is a state of it is a state of experience which is tough to articulate. It's a taste. Exactly. That's the best word. It's a taste.
So how do you relate it into being a member of the Shabarimala Tantri family? How could you experience a similar idea into the concept of pilgrimage? Where once you wear the mala, you are the Swami.
A very good question, because Shabarimala pilgrimage basically says Ayyappa is not different. Ayyappa inside the sanctum sanctorum or Srikovil, and the Ayyappas who coming to see him are not different. That's the meaning of Tat Tvam Asi there, and that means they are all merging into one. The use of black as a symbol, the use of Vrata, it's to produce a state of consciousness. Many a times it just gets degraded into rituals which people don't understand meaning. These things are aimed at creating a consciousness inside a person, a consciousness experienceable. That's the whole point. A consciousness experienceable.
They are losing it.
I mean, to be very honest, many of the good values of tradition are losing, and don't follow anything just because it is tradition. But let us find the inner meaning. Exactly. The tradition is only the outer manifestation. There is an inner meaning to the whole thing. When we understand that inner meaning, there is a taste of the whole thing, and that taste is what people long for. Otherwise, when you come without understanding the meaning, the in-depth taste, you simply feel like you are doing a ritual.
No, I think this is the point where I think my concept of research is relevant. You know, when we connect it to a certain art form, it becomes an experience.
Yeah, true. Especially with being Theyyam, there is a direct godliness being incorporated into it, and it is very tough for a different person to know how could this person transform into God. That's the reason why in Indian concept,
that's the entire concept of my research. My work, it's named as the Mystic Heights. So
that's precise. Very good articulation. Mystic heights and spiritual depths. Exactly. And in Indian philosophy, basically says our journey is not to become a Buddhist. Our journey is to become a Buddha. Okay. Our journey is not to become a Christian. Our journey is to become a Christ himself. Our journey is not being a believer of Krishna or Rama. It is to merge into that super consciousness, and that is the field in which all science is merging in.
It is in a way incorporated with the Rasalila concepts. And
it is having different. There is that one thing we should know. There is a psychometric orientation. Somebody will achieve this state through bhakti or emotion. Somebody will achieve through knowledge or fact or inquiry or intellect. Somebody will achieve through karma or action, which is called karma yoga. Somebody will achieve through dhyana or meditation. See, these are different forms, and especially when coming to art forms, it comes through emotion, art, the appeal. These are the things that's going to be crucial. It's a fascinating area of search. My word of appreciation for you for taking such a in-depth topic, which is very tough to articulate to people.
How do you think that being a representative youth, how do you think art form like cinema is capable of manifesting?
It's a fascinating question. I am at a loss of answering because maybe yes, maybe some movies, the easier understanding would be we identify ourselves with some characters. Maybe some great movies of Malayalam, like which is which connect to people, like say Thuvana Thumbigal. There are characters people feel so much identified with, and I have seen many good actors saying they had a hangover of the particular role they were playing. Of course, yes, of course. Mohanlal sir is a person who involves into it. Mammootty is a person who gets into the skin of the character. So you get yourself lost into this. You are lost. Only the other is there. This is the same state of love too. What we call pranaya or love. You exist less and the other person exists more.
Godard said once, cinema is love 24 frames per second.
Yeah, true, very true. I have heard of it. So I think incorporating it into cinema is a great challenge because there are different characters. And
there's a technical limitation.
There's a technical limitation. I don't know how an actor may merge into a different one, but I don't know how far it is possible for an audience to merge it. If some way can be found for that tadatmya, it would be great.
In a way, it's not just the performer. What I'm thinking is like it's in a way involved in the process of filmmaking as well, like what we call the Zen filmmaking.
Yeah, true, very true.
So, thank you very much for spending your precious time.
It's always a pleasure. All the best.